Welcome to the Katie Joy podcast, soul-aligned identity and leadership for life and business. This is a space for thoughtful conversations about identity, alignment, and leading your life from within. I'm Katie Joy. Let's begin. Before we start today's conversation, you might notice it's been a while since the last episode here. Over the last few months, I stepped back from the podcast to focus deeply on something that's been many years in the making. Completing the Soul Goal Mapping book. That process required a different kind of focus and creative energy, and I wanted to give it the space it deserved. Now that the book is complete, this podcast is returning with a renewed rhythm and deeper conversations about identity, alignment, and what it really means to live a soul-aligned life. Also, a little earlier this week, I shared a song here on the podcast, Soul Goal Mapping My Way Home, as a quiet opening to this new season of conversations. And today, we begin with one important question. What is soul-aligned success? Many people achieve the things that they once dreamed about, the career, the home, the life they thought would finally make everything feel complete. And yet, something inside them still feels unsettled. Nothing is technically wrong, but something doesn't quite feel right either. That quiet internal friction is something I see in people all over the world. Highly capable people, caring people, often deeply spiritual people. From the outside, their lives can look very successful, but inside, something feels misaligned. And when that happens, people often assume the problem is them. But what if the problem isn't you? What if the definition of success you were given was never designed for your soul in the first place? Today, I want to explore a concept that sits at the center of my work, a different way of understanding success, something I call soul-aligned success. So the question we're really exploring today is this: what actually is soul-aligned success? And how is it different from the kind of success most people are taught to pursue? Because most success models are built externally. They're based on things like achievement, recognition, money, or visibility. None of those things are inherently wrong, but they're also not the same as alignment. And when external success grows faster than internal alignment, people eventually start to feel the gap. Sometimes this shows as a quiet dissatisfaction. Sometimes it shows up as burnout. Sometimes people simply feel lost. Not because they failed, but because the life they built no longer reflects who they're becoming. This is one of the most common identity recalibration moments I see. People reach a point where they realize, I can continue down this path, but something inside me knows it's not fully true anymore. And that moment can be frightening because it often challenges everything we thought success meant. One of the deeper patterns behind this experience is something I call self-override. Many people achieve success by overriding their internal signals. They override their intuition, their energy, and their emotional truth. They become very good at being capable, very good at performing, very good at meeting expectations. But the more someone overrides themselves, the further they move away from their internal compass. And eventually, the body begins to signal that misalignment, sometimes through stress, sometimes through confusion, sometimes through the feeling of being disconnected from yourself. Soul-aligned success is different. It's not about abandoning ambition. It's not about rejecting success. It's about ensuring that what you're building in your life is actually aligned with who you truly are. Soul-aligned success means your external life reflects your internal truth. It means the direction you're moving feels steady inside your nervous system, not just impressive to other people. In my work, I often teach something called the safety before clarity principle, because clarity does not arrive through pressure. It arrives through safety. When the nervous system feels threatened or overwhelmed, the brain cannot access deeper truth. But when the body feels steady, the mind can organize what actually matters. That's when people begin to reconnect with their inner compass. But clarity alone is not enough. There is another shift that needs to happen. I call this the safety before certainty standard, because many people delay aligned decisions while waiting for certainty. They want guarantees. They want proof. They want to know exactly how things will unfold. But certainty is external, and external conditions are unpredictable. Safety, however, can be cultivated internally. So the real shift people learn in my work is moving the locus of certainty from outside of themselves back inside themselves. First we stabilize, then we lead. One of the ways that I do this is through a framework I call soul goal mapping. Instead of asking, what should I achieve next? Soul goal mapping invites a deeper question. What would a life that genuinely feels aligned actually look like? When people begin to explore that question honestly, everything starts to reorganize. You might reflect on a few questions for yourself. Does the version of success you're pursuing actually feel real to you? Or is it something you inherited from someone else's expectations? If your life looked exactly the same externally, but felt deeply aligned internally, what would be different? Those questions begin to open the space for recalibration. Success without alignment eventually feels hollow, but success that grows from alignment, it feels steady. It doesn't require constant performance. It doesn't require abandoning yourself. It simply reflects the truth of who you're becoming. If something in your life feels successful but not aligned, that might not be a failure. It might simply be a signal that your identity is evolving and that something deeper inside you is asking to lead. If this conversation resonates with you, the best place to explore this further is through the Soul Goal Mapping book. You can access chapter 1 for free now at theglobalbutterfly.com/read. Because the process of mapping what truly matters to your soul is often where people rediscover the clarity they thought they'd lost. Until next time, stay aligned.